Chapter 8. The CEO. I started reading the next morning. For the second night in a row, I slept better than I had in a long time. I was eager to start applying what Malcolm was teaching me. By Friday, I had read the book a second time. It was so powerful I could barely put it down. I started folding down corners on the pages that I had questions about. I wanted to talk to Malcolm about them. By Monday, I'd read each of these pages for a third time. That evening, I hardly waited for the guard to finish his announcement before I started down the hallway, book in hand. I found a seat in front and got Malcolm's attention. "Malcolm, I reread the book, just like you asked." "Great, we'll talk after group." There was another outsider with Malcolm. He was slender and, like Malcolm, was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. The outsider must have been about 10 years older than I was, probably about 28 or so. He looked like the kind of guy that had been locked up before, but there was something different about him. His face was relaxed. It wasn't tense like the guys in jail. He stood next to Malcolm and they waited for the seats at the tables to fill up. The thought flashed through my mind that one day I would be able to come back here with Malcolm. One day I could be the one standing in front of the group as an example to others. After his greeting, Malcolm introduced the new face. "Guys, this is Gary. He used to be in here just like you, but he worked hard and started doing things differently. Now he's on the outside, making good money. And best of all, he's going to stay out." Gary smiled, stepped forward, and nodded to the group. "Gary will be here after the meeting so that you can speak to him, or if you want, you can ask him questions during group. Are you ready to get started?" Group went along just like it had the last few weeks. Malcolm spoke, people listened, and a few asked questions. The only thing unusual was one inmate who kept talking. He talked forever. I wondered if he'd ever shut up. Malcolm's reaction was remarkable to me. He never cut the guy off, never stopped him. He just smiled, listened, and let the man speak. He seemed to really pay attention to the words the guy was saying. After group, Malcolm met a few guys, shook hands, and gave out books. Some books appeared the same as the book Malcolm gave me. Some were different. I watched as the guys thinned out. Gary came over to say goodbye to Malcolm when he finished talking to a few of the guys. I was the only one to stay late. Malcolm and I went through the book together. I showed him the pages I had questions on, and Malcolm explained what everything meant. I was amazed at everything Malcolm knew. "How do you know all of this?" "I've been doing this a long time, and I've been in your shoes. Now I read everything I can. I've learned a lot from reading. You can't read too much." I didn't know what to say, so I just kept quiet. "Look at this jail. You deserve better. You were made for more than this." That's what this book is about. I couldn't believe that anyone would say something like that to me. No one had ever talked to me like this before. He talked to me like I was really special. This guy gave me hope, and I could feel something inside me start to move. "You're special, Tony. What I will do is help you to become a winner, and there's nothing different about me. I've had days where I didn't know where my next dime was coming from, but I then started to listen and learn. People taught me a different way of thinking, a better way of being, and I can pass that knowledge on to you. Are you ready?" "Yes." "Are you ready to take action if I show you what to do? Because I can show you what to do, but I can't do it for you." "What can I do in here?" The gray cinder block walls and stale air made any change seem impossible. You don't know it yet, but you were in prison long before the police ever put handcuffs on you. Now the prison I'm talking about is not a building with bars or razor wire fencing, but it's still the most powerful jail on earth. The prison I'm talking about is right up here. Malcolm tapped his right index finger against his temple. Your mind. What you can do in here is remember that you are special and that your life has meaning. You can start to do things differently. You can start to tear down the prison in your mind. I didn't really understand Malcolm, but something inside me told me to believe him. Even Charles, the most feared man in the jail, respected him. I decided right there to trust Malcolm. A prison in my mind? What do you mean? I asked. Most people have never been taught to think about how many great things they can do. I learned this one simple truth, and it made a huge difference in my life. I will teach you what I've learned. So Malcolm spoke, and I listened for a long time. Listening to him felt a little like eating a big meal when you're starving, and I felt the words go right to my soul. After a while, Malcolm asked, "Tony, do you know what a mentor is?" I didn't. A mentor is like a teacher, but more. A mentor helps someone develop their life. There are 5 important parts of your life: physical, mental, spiritual, financial, and social. I can help you grow in these areas. Would you like me to mentor you? Yes. Malcolm said, "There's something else I want you to do. Have you ever heard of a dream list?" No. A dream list is a list of everything you want out of life. Start writing one this week. How do I do that? It's easy. Just think about the things that you want to do and be specific. You want a car, right? Yeah, who doesn't? Well, I want you to think about what kind of car, what year, what color. Then write that down. Then you think about other stuff you want, like a house. Think about places you want to go, like New York City, Florida, South America, wherever. It's your list, and there are no wrong answers. Think about people you want to meet, like movie stars, actresses, leaders, or politicians. Think about how strong you want to be, how healthy. Think about your friends, about how you get along with your family, how you want to feel about yourself and your spiritual life. I asked, why do I do all that? Because once you put your dreams on paper, I can help you get the things on your list. That's what a mentor does. Malcolm continued, and dream big. Don't skimp on your dream list. There may be some things that you want but are afraid to write down. Maybe you think it's stupid for you to want something like that. Don't censor your thoughts when you make the list. Any place you want to go, anything you want, or anyone you want to meet, put that on your list. Once we have a list, we can start working toward making those things become real. Okay, I agreed, having no idea how I would start. I would try. No one had ever spoken to me about dreams. At best, I was a C student, and that was on a good day. I'd never felt like I had the right to ask for anything fancy. Things like fancy vacations, cars, and meeting important people. Those were just for important people, not someone like me. My idea of a car was something that started and didn't break down every day. As for trips, I had only been out of the state once. That was a drive down to Dallas, just a few hours in the car. Hearing Malcolm talk about these things, about how he was going to teach me how to dream big and show me how to achieve those dreams, was different than anything I'd ever heard before. I had no idea how we were going to make those things come true, but I knew that Malcolm would lead me there. We agreed to meet after each group and talk. I would keep my copy of The Greatest Miracle in the World and review it daily. I would write down questions, any questions, as well as my dream list, and bring them to Malcolm on Mondays.